This year marks the 65th anniversary of Rotary in Trinidad and Tobago. The local arm believes this represents 65 years of successful and sustainable projects in the local communities, spanning the 7 areas of focus. Joining me to discuss some of these projects, plans to commemorate the milestone and upcoming plans this year is Assistant Governor for Trinidad North Clubs, Ms. Giselle Holder, and of course District Governor of Rotary District 7030, Mr. Leslie Ramdhanny OBE. Now, Mr. Ramdhanny has served as District Relief Chair, Rotary Foundation Fundraising Chair, and Assistant Governor on 5 occasions. He is also people-oriented and believes in service above self. To date, he has earned 4 Paul Harris Fellows and is also a Paul Harris Society member. Good morning.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome back to TNT, Mr. Ramdhanny. I heard you are an honorary Trini to the bone, and so we welcome you back to our shores.
Yes.
Before we get into the projects that the Rotary is working on, can you tell us a bit about the District 7030?
Okay. So, as you said before, I am the District Governor of District 7030. And the Rotary District begins from St. Kitts in the north, encompasses all of the islands coming down, ending on the South American continent of French Guiana. We also encompass what we call the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. They joined our district about 4 years ago. They were part of another district prior to that, but they are more related to us than to the Latin American countries, so they are now part of us. Our district, we have 74 clubs. And our membership, including Rotaractors who are members of Rotary, we are now about 2381 members in our district.
Nice. Tell us about some of the focus areas for the district.
Rotary International, we have 7 areas of focus. First and foremost, peace and conflict resolution. And the things we do projects to fight disease. We ensure that water, sanitation, and hygiene is an important project. Water, as you know, is needed every day of life, so we need to have water all the time. We engage communities, and I tell you, when I say we engage, we as Rotarians engage communities to assess needs, and we do projects that would promote economic upliftment of communities. Literacy and education is another area of focus. Literacy, as you are well aware, is important. We need to ensure that every child, especially so, can learn to read and write. Our projects take us into the schools, into our community, to ensure that we provide the materials to promote reading and writing in schools. Our clubs are very active where that is concerned. The youth, we focus on the youth to promote the young people. They are the leaders of tomorrow. We do projects again to ensure youth empowerment.
Now, Giselle, I'm coming to you because I know that the DG would have mentioned things like youth literacy, that sort of thing. Tell us about specific projects that the Rotary would have engaged in to ensure that these areas of focus get the attention.
Absolutely. So, as our DG said, you know, we have this, you could call it an umbrella. So all our projects focus within these 7 areas. So as you said, in terms of specifics, a lot of clubs right here in Trinidad and Tobago actually engage with our local schools. So you'd have things like reading projects. We've also partnered, that's another thing Rotary does very well. We recognize we don't necessarily have all the resources. So we partner a lot with other NGOs so that we are able to satisfy, as Leslie said, our community as best as possible. So reading projects within schools. We also have, what was very interesting, we're doing a childhood obesity prevention campaign throughout the entire district. And it's a 3-year project, very exciting because, you know, you don't really think about children when you think about obesity. I know we're all struggling, right? But yeah, to know that children are suffering with this simply because of the lack of education as to nutrition and what best to do. So I believe one of the French clubs came up with a very simple booklet that has been translated to English as well. And we have it throughout the entire district to be distributed to schools to just help encourage students to make better choices. And of course, more importantly, their parents, who would be the ones purchasing what they eat at home. So we're everywhere, we're doing all things, but those are some of the things very near and dear to us, because it may be challenges or issues that may not be that much focus on, because we have so many things, but Rotary, we tend to try to narrow down to certain things. Polio remains a global initiative that Rotary International tackles, and even right here in Trinidad and Tobago, we try our best to continue with that awareness. What was scary was, I believe last year, there were about 2 or 3 cases in New York of polio, and you're like, what? I know many young people don't even know what polio is. So it's something that Rotary, along with us right here in Trinidad and Tobago, through the guidance of our district governor, as well as the international organization, we're really hoping to eradicate. And it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. 99%, we're going to get there, hopefully.
Yeah. Mr. Ramdhanny, I'm going to come back to you because I understand that you are a graduate of UWI's Agriculture Department, and
Yes,
you do have a visit coming up with them as well. And we're talking food sustainability, right? And so I'm wondering what sort of conversations can we look forward to with that meeting that you're going to be having?
Actually, it's just a visit to the, yeah, this goes back many years ago, but it's just a visit to meet with the department, the Food and Production Department, to look at what we're doing, because they are very keen on making sure that we can provide ourselves for ourselves. We know that the food import bill is high, so more and more UWI is promoting sustainable food production for our people. It's so important, that we realize that food is something that we have the ability to produce our own food. We just have to exploit and do it.
Yeah.
Encourage persons to grow what they eat, rather than a lot of the imported stuff.
And I understand that some of the district governors would hold a certain specific areas of focus. And for you, Mr. Ramdhanny, I know that you focus on the environment. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, I was wondering why you were not asking that question. But yes, one of the things, you see, I come from a farming background.
Yes.
And that's my passion, farming, making sure that we can produce our own food. And not only that, over the years, you look at what's happening now. Climate change is a very, very serious thing that's happening. You look at the rainfall in your own country. The flooding has increased. Okay, my country, yes, we have the flooding, but thank God we are very hilly, so we do not suffer long. The water runs away. So we as a people must be conscious of what is happening with this climate change. It's there. It's facing us. We have to be doing things to protect our environment. That is what is important. Recognize the damage that is occurring to our environment, and we must do things to protect the environment. We must make everybody in our community aware of what is happening. Okay? Protecting our forests, cleaning up all of the debris. And let me tell you, as I travel, I see the amount of debris that lies everywhere. We as responsible persons, and we can encourage others to do that, to do cleanup campaigns, clean the environment of the plastics especially. That's damaging our landfills. It's not good for our landfills. Let us get rid of it. Let us recycle plastics. Let us grow more food. Let us plant trees. We can protect our coastlines, because you would realize that more and more, again, all goes back to the change in climatic conditions. Our coastlines are being eroded. Doing things like promoting mangrove growth is important. A lot of clubs have undertaken this project, planting mangroves along our coastlines to protect it from erosion.
And on that same vein, DG, I know that the theme for this year is Imagine Rotary. How can you imagine a better Rotary International, not just for us here, but globally?
That's the theme of our Rotary International President, Jennifer Jones. Simple word, one word, imagine. But she has challenged Rotarians to imagine the many things that we can do in our world to improve the lives of others. And this is exactly where the areas of focus that you mentioned come about. Imagine the many things we could do. I don't want to repeat them, but imaginative things. You know, as she says, you know, every night we go to bed, we dream. We dream many things. And they can become reality tomorrow. And this is what we as Rotarians think of, the many possibilities that are out there that we can convert to reality, all towards improving lives in the world. So that's our mission, to provide service to our communities to improve lives.
Giselle, I'm going to come to you quickly. Tell us about DG's visit. I imagine that everybody locally, all the local clubs are going to want to have a piece of him. So tell us what he's planning to do while he's here.
Yes, it is team no sleep. It's going to be an intense few days. Yes, he's actually already finished with his central visit, because we are distributed all through Trinidad and Tobago, right? So North, Central, East, South, and then Tobago.
Yes.
So he started in Central. We had a wonderful welcome reception for him, hosted at the Princess Elizabeth Center, and that had all the Trinidad clubs. Unfortunately, Tobago couldn't be there, but the closing ceremony is going to happen in Tobago, and we're going to go too, right? But what's fantastic is that our DG gets to see, I guess, Rotary in service in Trinidad and Tobago. So we would be communicating with our DG through our assistant governors throughout the entire year, but he gets the opportunity now to actually see a lot of the projects that we did. And the great thing too, he gets to see the younger side of Rotary through what we call our interactors and early actors, which really are the babies, right? Secondary school, primary school students who are equally engaged, if not more engaged, than the average Rotarian in terms of, as he said, especially environmental projects. So, you know, we're going to make sure he gets some sleep. But, you know, he has a lot to do, a lot to see, and we're very glad to have him with us during this time.
Before we go, I wanted to touch, I know that there's a beautification project going on at Maracas Waterfall. Who can speak to that just to give us some more information?
Did you saw it? He saw it himself.
Yes, Mr. Ramdhanny.
So yesterday I had the distinct pleasure of doing that hike up to the waterfall. It's a wonderful trail. I know it's not a secret in Trinidad, but it's a wonderful trail that must be protected. I must tell you that on the way, the amount of garbage that we found was very minimal. I was very happy to see that. Yes, the Rotarians of the Maracas St. Joseph Club, that's their pet project. In particular, I must mention Rotarian Anil, who is so very keen on that project. Of course, we went up there with garbage bags to clean up. So the trail is in great condition, and I did very well to manage to get up right up to the waterfall. You know,
you did your very best.
I love hiking, so it was okay for me.
Yes.
And and this is where people must get close to nature. It brings you right close to nature. You know, trail up, the forests, the rocks, the streams running down. You know, and we must treasure these things as persons. When you get up there, you look at the wonders of nature. How that fall cascades down over the rocks is wonderful. It's certainly something worth preserving as it is. Maybe the trail can be made a little easier for old people like me.
But you were able to manage just fine, DG, and you sort of told your own self. But DG, let me thank you so much for, you know, sharing about the projects. I wish you all the best with your visit, and I hope that you take the love from all of us back home to Guyana. So thank you so much for joining us. Grenada. Thank you so much for joining us. And ADG, thank you as well for joining us. And of course, you may see me at some of the events, so I hope to engage with you again pretty soon.
Thank you.
And that is how we wrap it up on the Now Morning Show. But stay with us. We have so much more coming up in a short time.